Since its enactment, the Sugar Act 2020 has never been implemented. Government, through the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, says there are no funds to aid the implementation of the Act.
It became a bit difficult to put the board in place. First, we did not have the resources to put the board in place.
To address the challenge, government, through the Sugar Amendment Bill 2023, seeks to introduce a third party under the Uganda Sugar Industry Stakeholder Council to replace the Uganda Sugar Board, which has no room in the consolidated fund.
It became apparent that having a council, stakeholders council, which actually has the powers to license, which has equal powers by the farmers and the millers, is a better model.
The Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Tourism, led by Chairperson Mwine Mpaka, introduced the bill for the second reading, but ended prematurely.
So if the Ministry of Trade thinks that changing the governance structure so that more powers is removed from them and given to the millers, to the farmers, in fact, I should be complaining why we are not giving even powers to us, the consumers, the final consumers who pay the price. It should please this House that the ministry or government wants to remove some of the control and give it back to us.
The majority of the MPs failed to resonate with the justifications of government to abandon its responsibility as provided in the Principal Act, deciding to phase out the Uganda Sugar Board even before its existence.
To say government does not have money for it, it is to say we don't regard it important. And that means you are setting it from important areas to less important.
Refrained for us to move forward before we agree on that principle. This bill seeks to take away the mandate of regulation from a board to a council which is private.
The Minister of State for Industry, David Bahati, tried to interest the members on the difference between the board and the council, but in vain.
Now the council, in this case, the board which we had proposed, was being regulated purely by government. In this case of the council, we are having the millers, we are having the farmers. The council is making recommendations to the minister.
I'm wondering, we are going to every step of the clause, but I'm not even given an opportunity to propose an amendment to this bill. Are we proceeding well when I'm being closed out? Yet I'm a full shadow minister of trade and industry.
The MPs also questioned how the proposed private entity will contribute the revenue to the consolidated fund and how government will control and influence on the intended private entity. The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, who had started chairing the Bills Committee stage, ruled to stay the Sugar Amendment Bill 2023 to allow the Attorney General to guide the House on the way forward.
Where does government get the power to create a private entity? And then you say, you private entity, you will pick from your pockets and fund.
The Sugar Act 2020 provides a formula to determine the sugar price of sugarcane sold to millers, but the bill seeks to amend the formula in accordance with the international norms.
I know sugar is sweet, and the debate on sugar is also sweet. But, Mr. Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered a bill entitled the Sugar Amendment Bill 2023 and stood over it, deferred it here. Thank you.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.